Okay, welcome everybody. Today is December 27th, 2024. Thanks for joining us. Today we're here to listen to Boyd talk about sheriffs. And Boyd, you can tell us a little bit more about that and go
Yep,
ahead.
yep. The our sheriff here is he got a little busy. He was supposed to be here with me right now, and he was going to talk most of the night. Um, and he's a sheriff that's just jumping on board. He just learning the situation, just learning everything, and he's understanding it. He's a retired U.S. Marshal, so um, I believe we're going to start seeing that more and more and more and more. Uh, Anna had a call, I think, on the 5th of last month maybe or this month, and she said, everything's going to be okay for all of us. It's going to change overnight, so which is a good thing, and I see it coming too. So, but I know there's a lot of problems right now with being stopped by officers and getting tickets, and um, they just don't want to hear it. It's like they think you're crazy, and but I'm going to tell y'all, when I was there, I knew none of this. We were indoctrinated so bad. When we went to the police academy, all they taught us was state statutes. The Constitution was never mentioned one time. Declaration of Independence, Bill of Rights, none of that was ever mentioned at any time in any of our training in the 27 years I was there. So all these officers think they're doing their job, and they think they're supposed to be doing what they're doing. So when they stop us and
I
we tell
can't
them,
hear. I can't hear.
whenever we tell them that we don't live in their jurisdiction, they uh, they think we're nuts. Even though you show them the paperwork, they don't look at it because they're so, at the chief conventions, just for instance, this FBI would come and teach us sovereign citizens, and that's us. That's what they call us. I mean, we're terrible. We're violent. You know, um, I mean, they just make us look so bad. And it's wrong. And I'm going to be talking at our chiefs convention in July to all the chiefs in the state, um, to let them know the truth, which hopefully by then they already know. But I was invited to go, so that's a sign that things are changing. It's a big plus. I'm excited about that. Um, the main thing when an officer stops you, just know they like you were when you first started this, and they have no clue, just like you didn't have a clue until we learned what we learned. Um, just always be polite and professional, but be firm and stand up for your rights. Don't let your rights be violated. I wouldn't say get violent. Don't get violent. Just always be respectful but firm. Um, and have all your documents with you. And be able to speak confidently to them, like you know what you're talking about. Because I've seen that a couple of times. I saw videos of mine how the sovereign they talk out of both sides of their mouth. They contradict themselves. They don't understand what they're saying. So we have to make sure we know what we're saying and study it and learn it, and that way they can't catch us in some kind of error. Uh, Never agree. Y'all know that already. Let's see. American state nationals, common law. Let's see. Distinction between de jure. We all know that, I'm sure. Victimless crimes. That all these traffic stops, all these traffic tickets. It's not a crime. I mean, no one should ever get them ever. Uh, and I used to think that was the thing. They used to make us write 10 tickets a day. The judge would call the police department and speak to me and say, "Why y'all not writing tickets? Y'all need to write some tickets. We need money over here at the courthouse." So it's when you hear people say that it's all about money, it's about money. I'm telling you, it's about money. That's all it's always been about. Then I heard something today. In 1971, all municipal courts were canceled. I need to do some more research on that, but I don't know how true that is. Joe's on here?
I don't think he's joined yet.
No.
I don't
Now,
see him.
if anybody knows anything about that, I mean, that shocked me when I heard that. And since 1971, there should be no city courts anywhere in the United States. I don't know how true that is. I read some law on it, and it looks like that's the way it is, but it shocked me. I have to do more research to be confident about that. Um, we'll get back. I'm going to get off track like that all the time. It's important to always stay calm, but be firm. Don't let them degrade you. And you know that there's some of them are just some jerks. I mean, some of them are just jerks. They're crooked. Um, I mean, I just got arrested 2 months ago for protecting my sister's rights. I mean, the DA dropped all the charges. I mean, it's ridiculous. They come to my house and arrested me on warrants, and I filed suit in federal court, and they're calling me now to settle from all that. And I'm not settling. I want to go to court in front of a jury, and I want them to hear what we have to say. That's what needs to happen. Um, Jurisdiction and rights under common law. We all know that they do not have jurisdiction over us at all. I mean, I don't care. I mean, if it's a vicious crime or something like that, then yes. I mean, but traffic and just minor things, they have no say so over us, and you need to stand up for your rights. And I recommend if you get a ticket or anything from any de facto, you just take your ticket, sign it, UCC one, you know, do what you're supposed to do and you sign your name and go to the sheriff and file a complaint because they're violated your rights. And it's the sheriff's job to protect your rights. And I definitely, that needs to be done anytime you get stopped and bring all your paperwork with you and show him. And he's going to have to do something about it. And if he doesn't, then you're going to hold him accountable too. But I know that's worked for a couple of people. And since my sheriff is on board, which is really great, I mean, it's really great. I mean, he's talking about wanting to come to the land and soil, how he's going to do that because he just got elected in his position. So it's pretty exciting that he's working along with us. Um, let's see, laws protecting.
Wait, do you want
And
me to share this document, share the screen? I've sent it, it's in the chat, but do you want me to
you
share
can.
it?
Yeah, that would
That
be
may be
great.
helpful. Okay.
The know your statutes, section part 2, number 2. Know your case laws by memory, because you know when you start saying and saying from experience as a policeman, you know when somebody starts just from memory speaking case laws and telling you about it, it makes the officer double think a lot of times because they don't even know case laws like that. You know, they don't study them like that. So it makes them wonder, okay, we got somebody that knows what they're talking about, maybe, and it makes them research and it works sometimes, you know. Some of them just don't care, but um, it's important to be able to state from memory case laws because that grabs the officer's attention and makes them start thinking, and they'll call a supervisor, and hopefully the supervisor knows most of the time that you know we're right. Um, let's see, Norton versus Shelby, unconstitutional acts is not law. Governments can only deal with artificial persons, not living men and women. Just that right there, it makes me so sick. You know, they have no right to talk to a living man or a living woman. They do anyway. You know, you have to consent and all that stuff, and they make you consent or they don't tell you. Just understand your rights and don't ever understand anything. Just, I do not consent. That should be the only words that come out of your mouth anytime you're dealing with de facto. I don't consent. I don't consent. I don't consent. That's it. No other words because it's no use, and because they're gonna get you by saying you consented because you understood this or that. So don't ever, ever, ever say anything else but I do not consent. Uh, the right to travel, know the case laws on that. Um, read them from memory, to the officers, this one, so and so says that I have the right to travel, and the state can't hinder me from doing such. I can ignore it if they do. Let's see. Do y'all, I'm sure everybody has like travel packets. I know some people have, and I've emailed some. Is there a way to get the people that have travel packets? Can they tell us, or show of hands, or something, Kathy?
Yeah, if you have a travel packet, can you go into the like the emojis and just raise your hand? We can see.
I can't see, and so I don't know. You have to tell me.
Here, let me just stop share for a second. So let's see. So if you go into view and you view gallery, it looks like not that many actually.
Really? So they don't have chat? Okay.
10, 11. Some people may not know how to put the hand up.
Yeah. I'm gonna email you a travel packet to put in there
Okay.
in the chat
Or you
so
can
they
put,
can have.
it's the other thing, you can put it in the chat too.
Yeah. I'm on my phone.
Okay.
I'm just following along on my computer.
Okay.
um,
Oh, there we go. 1, 2, 3. Looks like there's just 10 hands up.
any indemnity bonds, I'm sure. I mean, I don't never give them a copy of it, but I use Anna's. That's what she's given it to us to use. We just can't give them a copy of it. And all your paperwork, what I have is a folder, and this makes a big difference too when dealing with de facto is, see, I have a folder like this. It's got all my paperwork in it. Showing that with my travel packet, and because I get stopped a lot by the state police all the time.
So,
And
boy, maybe
I'm
go
never,
through what exactly you show them. So you have the one packet you just showed us in your
that's
travel
what I'm
packet.
pulling
Do
out.
you go
Yes,
piece by
I'm
piece?
getting it out right now.
Okay.
The travel packet, I mean, my status paperwork, I just have the whole 928 documents. I have the whole thing just right here, copies, Form to see in my folder. It's not the originals, of course. And I, if they want to keep it, I'll let them keep it. I just hand it to them. I mean, I have plenty of them. I make extra. But if you don't have that, see, this is the one I actually use, and I give it to them. And this is the travel packet. It's got everything that we need in there. It's got all the case laws written down in great detail. It's just several pages. Right to travel. I have that in a PDF. I'll email it to you. You could put it up there. Um, if you have all that, 9 out of 10 times you should have no problems. I mean, because it's right there in their face, and if they looking at it, they can't justify giving you a ticket or arresting you. I mean, they just don't. They're just a jerk, and they don't care, and they don't want to follow the law. Which that helps you. It helps you if you do give them this, and they write you a ticket. You just got them even better. You know. Um, I also have this, a notice of inquiry and report for detainment. you hand that to them and they have to fill it out. They have to. I've never got one to fill it out. They never would do it, but I've it logged that they were given the paperwork and they should, so they can't deny it and record everything, everything. I suggest everyone have their phone on them, or I have a little body camera. Um, I paid like $30 for it online and it works beautifully. I mean, it'll record up to 2 hours, and the charge will last, oh Lord, probably 12 to 24 hours of using it. If you have a camera, it helps. It really helps. Second.
Or do you want to wait to the end to take questions? Or do you want to
Yeah,
answer
if they
questions
have
as we go
questions, they
along?
can. I will like email this to you because
Okay.
I'm finding the travel packet.
Scott, if you want to go ahead and ask your question, I see your hand up, and then let me see.
You there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm trying to
Okay.
but Scott, you can I'm clicking ask to unmute, but I'm not sure if you're seeing it or not.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we've had a number of instances in Minnesota State where we've tried to offer paperwork to the officer on the street and they just refuse to even look at it or touch it. They won't take it.
Mhm.
They're getting pretty well trained here to thwart our efforts. What do you
Right.
suggest in those situations?
I suggest once you leave that traffic stop, if they were tell you you're free to go, drive straight to the police department or the agency that gave you the citation and give them a copy of your paperwork. I would drop them off a copy of that, show them as served, and a refusal to take it on the stop, and go straight to your sheriff and file a complaint. We need to start doing that. I mean, people need to be held accountable. Uh, It is what it is. You know, they can't do what they're doing. The law says they can't. So, and we're protected by that law. Uh, that's what I would do. File a
Thank you.
complaint with their chief or their supervisor, file a complaint, and go to the sheriff also and file a complaint.
Right, sir. It's a good idea. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, John, do you want to go ahead and John Dotson unmute and ask a question?
Yes, hello. I hope you don't have too much road noise coming across here, but quick question. If you get pulled over, and I have a couple of times since knowing this information, what can you explain to me about tacit agreement? Is there an actual tacit agreement if you hand your driver license through the window? I've heard where some lady had actually accidentally put her driver's license on her dashboard and they were fine with it. They didn't say anything and they just looked at it and then said, okay, have a great day, and left.
Mhm.
Can you explain that?
I'll give it to them. On the back of mine
Okay.
is I write that, and it's all rights reserved without prejudice. So that clears you. You're not agreeing to nothing. So I've never had a problem saying, you know, we kind of got to give a little, bend a little. I don't believe giving your license hurts anything. If you don't have one, then you give them your ASN ID. Um, but that just like fuels the fire. I know we don't have to give it, but we working with them. You know what I'm saying? Let's try to show that we're working with them and trying to, be as polite and as professional as we can. I don't think giving them the license hurts anything at all. Whenever you tell them, no, you're not getting my license, well, first thing in their mind is, well, he must be a felon. He must be wanted. He must not be giving me his real name, and there's all kind of things that go through their head because that's what people do when they refuse to give a license or give a name or anything like that, it's because there's something that's held in court there, and there's something going on. There's something not right with them. So, and it usually ends up being a warrant for a felony warrant or something like that. So I always recommend give the license, but write that on the back and it clears you. You know, you won't have, um, they won't be able to say you consented because you gave your license. Your rights are still protected.
What about handing a passport to them?
You can do that too. You can. You can
Would
do
that be
too,
offensive
because
to them?
is your passport, is it ASN passport?
Well, yeah. So by that, let me explain. I have a passport. It does not have 5 stars, which apparently means you have somewhat of a diplomatic immunity, but it does have instructions for Anna to have a global stamp on the upper page adjacent to your photograph, and then you
Mhm.
cancel it with red ink with your name, and then underneath your city and state in red ink. And then all rights reserved, I believe, and so on and so forth, on the signature line in blue. Now,
Uh-huh.
that's the more recent version of the passport that I've gotten from Anna, or instructions, I should say.
The passports, I don't even have a passport. Do they say, does your passport say do not detain, do not arrest, anything like that?
No, it does not say that.
No,
If you mean, did I write that on there? No, or does it
no.
have it?
I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
the federal government's writing it on some. Some people go and there's a way to fill out the passport, and it says that you're do not detain, do not interrogate, just like
Right.
our ID does.
As a matter of fact, that I'm working on that right now, trying to obtain a passport that actually provides me those privileges. Um, and actually, I'm waiting for somebody to give me those instructions so that I can, you know, get a new version of the passport. I only got this one that I have right now from about a year ago, so hopefully this one will work. He says he has a passport by his own instructions that will get you a 5-star passport, which will give you do not detain, do not interrogate privileges. So once they even scan your license plate, they will know immediately that you're already on that do not detain, do not interrogate list, supposedly. Then if they pull you over anyway, you can just hand them your passport. I believe it should be on your passport card as well with the 5 stars, but I'm not sure. I don't have that yet.
I don't know. I know the most recent form, the most recent way to do a passport, if you go to the louisianaassembly.com, the louisianaassembly.com, we have a packet on our website. It's PDF you can print. It'll show you how to, it's the most recent one.
And it gives you a 5-star passport. Is that what you're saying?
I believe so. It has do not detain, do not interrogate. It has all that on there.
Very good.
So in the chat, sorry, John, I don't mean to interrupt. Johnny Perry put in there the Copper Moonshine Still website, and that's also a good one to go through and fill out the passport form, just follow their instructions. Now, I did that recently, probably earlier this year, and I have 3 stars. I was feeling very sad that I only had 3 stars and I didn't get 5 because I'm very competitive. So I had talked to some people, and it seems no one really knows, and what the difference is between 2, 3, 4, or 5 stars. Everybody gets something
Never
different.
heard that, the
I
stars. I don't know.
Yeah, it's on the passport card. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like, filing again, but I won't, because I'm not sure if it makes a huge difference or not, is what I'm saying, because there are people that have variations of the
Yeah.
stars. So,
My understanding is that you can get the 5 stars, but following the Copper Moonshine Stills process, which I have done, my first iteration, the one I'm talking about that I have now, is actually my 2nd iteration, and I'm going for my 3rd, believe it or not. So I'm going for the 5 stars, so that if I get pulled over, they have no. I don't have to even have the conversation.
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
I don't have to explain to them. I don't have to carry my packet or anything like that. Although I do think it's a good idea to carry your packet. I don't have
Right.
one. I need to get that.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And by the
I
way,
just
with the,
emailed it.
go ahead, sorry.
No, it's all right. Go ahead, finish what you saying.
Yeah, I was going to say, the packet of information that you have, where can
Mhm.
I find that?
Kathy's about to load it in the chat.
Okay, and that's what, a PDF, what, a URL that I can go to?
It's a PDF file.
Okay, perfect. All right,
Or it's a
with
Word
that, I
document,
yield.
I'm sorry. But
All
it's
right, thank you.
Louisiana. You'll just have to change the Louisiana to your state.
Yeah, my state, yep. All right, thank you so much.
All right.
Okay, there is another question from Dwayne. Dwayne, you want to go ahead and unmute, and then I'll take your question, then Boyd can continue on.
Yes.
I'll go ahead and put this document in here right now.
All right, you
Yes,
got it.
thank you. Thank you, Boyd, for all you that you do. You were saying that a lot of these cops, they got to write tickets. You know, the mayor or whatever tells me I gotta go write me some ticket. We need money.
The judge.
Or the judge. I'm sorry. What I said,
Mhm.
Lloyd. Well, you know, I live in Tickfaw, and
Mhm.
Tickfaw is known as ticket form, and actually, it's a made world news for like the world's biggest speed
Mhm.
trap, right? So these guys, they don't want to not write tickets because they got a pension that they got to look after, right? So if they get fired or
Mhm.
whatever, they might not get that pension. So they really don't want to do nothing. I was talking to a captain on the side of the road, and he tells me, yeah, this one guy told me he wasn't driving. I said, well, he wasn't. And that goes just to what you were saying. They don't know any better, and this is a captain.
They
So,
don't.
so if there's a campaign that's going to be launched to where they all get to know at one time, because he don't want to do anything until it comes down from the top. So, so it's like all of them have their hands tied until the word comes down from above. You know that okay, now we can't write no more tickets. You know,
Mhm.
so is that what we're counting on? You know, to have one
I
big
think
campaign
I
to
think
deploy it.
this is my opinion, but from what I'm looking at and seeing, you know, like today was like a major change. Today there was a big change of things I've seen online about DeFacto saying that we're working on standing the Federation. So it's they're aware, you know, and I believe, you know, Miss Anna set them straight, and they're going to say that, you know, the 50 states of the union is the civilian government, and
Yeah,
that's it.
I asked him. Asked him if he heard anything. He goes, "No, I ain't heard nothing." You know, so I guess it hasn't been deployed yet, or just whatever. But
If you're on Facebook, you look at my Facebook, you'll see I put some videos today that I saw. Um, and one of them, I believe in prophecy. I mean, you can tell when there's somebody prophesies that
uh-huh.
you can tell which ones are real and which is not. And this guy
Okay.
tonight was saying that he was told that the Federation is started and
Uh-huh.
things are going to change drastically and people are
Yeah.
going to be shocked, you know.
I'm just
So
impatient. You know, I'm the kind of guy that wants a date. You know.
I am too, you know. We're tired of dealing with all this, treated like villains when we're you know, doing the right thing. I
Okay.
mean, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous what's happening.
All right. One more thing, Ball. Chief. Uh,
Huh?
so what y'all was saying is that a star is bad? Because all my life in school, I never did get a star, and I always wanted a star. So now I don't want a star. I yield.
May I?
Yes,
Hi.
I did.
I was stopped on Christmas Eve night going home from my brother's, and I gave him my passport card. You know, we're talking about Minnesota. Gave him my passport card. It has the 5 stars. When I crossed the Canadian border, I went in and they stopped me because I was once asked to return the card because of IRS taxes. I never did. But
Mhm.
anyway, I only had the card, so I ordered, or I mean, the book. And then I ordered the card and I sent it in with my credential card thing,
Mhm.
and I had the e-verify on there so they could look it up and my mandatory notice. And I got the 5-star card back, which I thought would just be for another 5 years because I already had the book for 5 years, but it's for 10 years. But anyway, I crossed the border and uh, the border guy was training this guy. And so they ran the cards and it had that thing in there that said my card was supposed to be returned. And I just played dumb and said, yes, I returned it when I got my passport card. I had to return the book then. And they
Mhm.
said, you go upstairs, park and go upstairs. And so my daughter and granddaughter were along. We'd been to Niagara Falls and we went upstairs and, well, we went to the building and then we went upstairs and we just sat down and they said, Lee, party of 3, come up. And so we went up, or, we crossed, there was a central area. We crossed the central area, and this guy had our 3 cards and he was meeting us. And he said, here are your cards, you're free to go. And so I know my passport card has do not detain and do not interrogate,
Mhm.
but how do I get Steele County, Minnesota to recognize that? I told him I was a foreign national.
Mhm.
I,
You
I'm not
you're
very,
gonna have to,
I'm not very good at that.
right. If you go to the agency that stopped you and speak to the head of the agency, the sheriff or the chief, whoever it is. But if it's in a city police, then go to the chief of police, make a complaint, and then go to your sheriff and make a complaint and
Okay,
demand something be done. That's the only way we're going to get these people educated until it's out. We're going to have to do that.
thank you.
Hmm.
I yield.
Right. That's all, Kathy. No other question.
Nope, that's it. You can continue.
Um, Another thing that's going to give us more authority is when our courts are standing. And I tell everybody that, things kind of lag behind in assemblies and what have you, but it's so important to stand our courts, you know, because the change is happening right now in the country. And if de facto is taken out, the courts are taken out, de facto is taken out, then if the General Assembly doesn't have a court standing, then the military holds court and it's military tribunals. If the General Assembly has a court, then that's it. They can't do nothing. Then it's the General Assembly. So it's so important because if we get the court standing in every state, you can start holding them accountable and bringing them to court. Bringing the judges to court, and we have a stack in Louisiana. We just waiting for our court to be standing, and we're going to start issuing subpoenas to come to court and answer for what they've done. I mean, they have to be held accountable, and that's what it's all about. You know, it's horrible, and they don't care. I mean, a guy sitting in jail for almost 60 days for expired driver's license and no insurance, and he got contempt for fate up here in court, and he's been in jail for 60 days. And we have tried everything under the sun to get him out. And the judge ignored us, and the last letter I sent him said, "You're in for a big surprise, buddy." And he's gonna be. I mean, because he's on the top of the list. It's we just have to do it. We have to hold them accountable and let them know that we're there, you know, and they can't do what they're doing. And once they brought into our General Assembly courts, they're gonna know. And I bet you there's gonna be a huge change real quick in de facto. In the military is working for the American people. So That's our backup. That's our help, you know, to get them in court if it comes down to that. And I said
Boyd,
that many
there's a
times that
hand
the
up.
military. All right,
Oh,
go ahead.
sorry, thought you were taking a pause.
Okay,
You want to finish your
that's good.
sentence, your thought?
No, I'm good. Go ahead.
Okay, Jocelyn, go ahead. You can unmute and ask your question.
Yeah, I was just wondering, I don't want to divert, but I was wondering if the guy you're talking about, I mean, I have a ton of people, like we talk about the Arkansas Assembly and Cheryl being in jail. I've just kind of really come to understand this information about the standing of the parties, because you say so matter of factly that they can't do this. Well, the reason they can't do it is because they have no standing. And in the end, if you look at it as a creditor-debtor relationship, you're always the creditor. So
Mhm.
I'm just wondering if you're familiar with that, and I might get your
Yeah.
email from Christy maybe and send you
Mhm.
some new stuff that I've come upon, because I
Okay.
have several cases, but I have this one particular case. I'm not going to mention what it is, but I've been in it for 9 years. I mean, obviously it's a family law case, or whatever you want to call that. But I've thrown everything at them, and then I've come to this conclusion where if they don't have any standing, like who is holder in due course, who actually can make the claim to have the authority to do anything? Well, they
Mhm.
absolutely can't. And that's the point that, we're not, I mean, how do we get to the bottom of that? Well, I believe
Right.
that you get to the bottom of it with a tax form where they can't fill it out. So I'll just land it there, but I just want to give you
That
that
too.
for the
That
guy in
too.
the
I know
jail.
what you're talking about. I know the exact
Yeah.
thing you're
So I'm
talking
going to
about.
get your email, or unless you can
Mhm.
send me a direct message, I'll email you, and I have
Okay.
some stuff that I've been working on. So,
My email's easy. It's boydjadams@gmail.com.
oh, perfect. I'll write that down right now. Then I don't have to do an extra email.
All
I
right.
appreciate you, Boyd. You're amazing
Uh-huh.
at Gmail.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
Thank you. Um, back to when I was talking about the things you should say to officers is I don't consent. You know, another thing is am I being detained or am I free to go? You know, keep asking that and just hold them to the fire. Your rights being violated. The longer you're there, the worse you're violated. Um, just keep asking. Am I free to go? Am I being detained? You know, what are you gonna do? Let's do it now. Let's get it over with. And uh, waive no rights. Always sign UCC 1-308 without prejudice. Uh, escalation management remain firm but respectful. Request a supervisor if the inaction becomes aggressive. So I would ask for and if there's any sign that they are not going to listen to you or take your packet, demand a supervisor. Always demand a supervisor immediately, and make sure your recorder's on the whole time, the entire time, because that makes a world of difference. And if they know you're recording, they're going to be totally different with you. Most of the times, they're going to be polite, and you're going to go about your way because they don't want to deal with it. They really don't. You know, um, when I was in de facto, I was a sergeant on patrol, and I arrested one of us for traffic violations. I mean, look, I didn't know, you know, so don't torment me. Um, and we went to court, and I mean, this guy let the DA have it. He let the judge have it. And they dismissed everything. And I did my job, you know. I wrote. He was doing like 110, if I remember correctly. It was over 100 and a 55, and I mean, it was crazy what he was doing. And I arrested him instead of citing and releasing. I arrested him. So, and he got everything dismissed. Um, and he was a horse as ass. I mean, he was so ugly. Huh?
Sorry,
What's
it's a
that?
live mic. It's a live mic. I'm
Oh,
muting him.
oh.
Sorry.
Um, it's just, you know, he was a jerk, and I'm a nice guy. I rarely get angry, and I never get angry. You know, I always talk with a calm voice, and I just treat people like I want to be treated. Even when I worked in law enforcement, in 27 years, I never got in a fight with anybody ever. Never had to physically fight with anybody to arrest them. I was always able to talk them down, and you know, and that's what every officer should do. That's how it's supposed to be. Let's see, remedies, steps to take post incident. File a lawful complaint with the county sheriff under common law. Uh, Request evidence of jurisdiction and authority from the officer. That's what you need to do after you get stopped. Go to the police station, to the sheriff's office, to the dispatcher, and say, I'd like to speak to that officer and their supervisor. I want to see proof that they have jurisdiction over me. I want to see the proof. And they're going to come up with this and that and this, but that's not you. You bring your paperwork and you show them. You know, for us just going away and not fighting it and not standing up for ourselves and push and push back, we're not going to get anywhere. So we need to push back, professionally, not on the side of the road by yourself, polite, respectful, but firm on your rights. Don't let your rights be abused. But when you're at the police department, say, look, guys, y'all gonna listen to what I have to say. This is what it is. This is the law. Are you gonna tell me you can just break the law and just ignore what I'm telling you? I mean, you can go to jail for that. You're writing me a ticket because I broke the law, and I didn't break the law. You breaking the law, doing what you're doing to me. That needs to be done so we can get them to start understanding. Because if we in front of their face doing that, I mean, think about it. You go stop on the side of the road and they go to the police station and you show up at the police station because you're not done. They're gonna be like, man, there's something going on. They're gonna end up having to listen to you. You know, don't do anything to get yourself arrested, talking loud and irate and stuff like that, but just peacefully protest and tell them they're wrong and speak to their chief and just don't give up. Don't give up. Fight, 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 fight. And go to the sheriff after that and make your complaint there. And I think if we all start doing that, we all gonna make headway. And the word's gonna spread. Um, I've been reading some magazines like Police One. I sent them a long letter. They always dogging us because we're always after the police and we're crazy and whatever. And I told them, I said, prove this, prove this, prove this, prove this. And I never heard back from them. And the letter that I was questioning about is taken off of their site. So, they don't know. They don't know. But if you don't stop and you push and you give them the evidence, they can't rebut it because it's on black and white. It's in black and white, and it's constitutional law, case laws. They just can't argue it because it's right there in front of their face. So I just think it'll work.
Boyd, do you want to take a couple questions?
Sure.
Sorry.
Sure. I see it working already, but go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, Carmen.
Thank you for taking my question. I actually want to tell a little bit of my situation. So on September 23rd, 2024, I was stopped because a sheriff was behind me and I had a private plate on my car, so I unregistered my vehicle. I also had sent a letter to remove my car from the motor theft vehicle program as well. So my car was unregistered and I was traveling on my private plate, not for hire. And he stopped me because he didn't recognize my plate. They call them tags here in Florida, for not recognizing that it was one of the 50 states, because my plate actually says America. And he stopped me and he questioned me. And I gave him my passport card as identification. And he ran my name and saw that I had a suspended driver's license. And he came back and questioned me about was I aware of it. And I shouldn't have said to him what I told him, which was that I acknowledged that I should have just kept my mouth shut. But I did answer him and told him, yes, that I was aware. However, I was not driving, I was traveling, not for hire, not in commerce. And I ended up getting arrested at that point. I did catch most of it on my cell phone video camera, and I do have court on the 14th of January in regards to this. But the sheriff actually put his hand, because he gave me 3 commands for me to get out of my car, which I was telling him what for. You know, it's like you're being detained, but he wouldn't tell me for what. He wouldn't explain why I'm being detained. Um, so anyway, he unlocked my car door and I slapped his hand for coming into my car because he was coming into my private property and into my
Mm-hmm.
personal space.
Mm-hmm.
And he took me out along with another sheriff and they slammed me to the ground and then picked me up, handcuffed me, and threw me in his cruiser. Um, so I spent a day and a half in jail, and I have to go into court on the 14th. Like I said, initially I was charged with felony for battery on Leo because I slapped his hand.
Mm-hmm.
And then the prosecutor went ahead and dropped the charges to a misdemeanor of resisting arrest without violence.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so the charges that I have to go to court for are going to be not operating a motor vehicle without registration, the misdemeanor for resisting arrest without violence, which I do have a case, a couple of cases actually, that I'm going to be using as my defense, including due process violation of all of, the things that have happened to me. My car was
Mm-hmm.
searched without a warrant. They impounded my car. And I have all these expenses that have occurred because of their violation of my
Mm-hmm.
rights. And I also gave him a notice of liability on the spot. Like after he started questioning me, I gave him a
Mm-hmm.
notice of liability. So he was noticed. He was
Perfect.
noticed
Perfect.
with my tag. He was noticed on paper. So anyway, so I'm trying to use a defense of that I cannot be charged under a special plea and bar is what I'm going to be using.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna pray and see what happens with that. But any advice that you can give me in
Um,
regards to this
First of all, from
court case?
what you just told me, you didn't break any law. Uh,
Correct.
you're gonna go to court and you're gonna go to court for your straw man. It's not you. Remember
Hmm.
that. And you just don't consent and you stick to that and make them prove jurisdiction. They have to prove jurisdiction and they can't do that. So that's going to end that. It should end that right there.
Okay.
And just be firm, professional, polite, but firm.
Yeah.
And because you know what you're talking about and you're right. And they are wrong.
Yeah, unfortunately, he was he was not having it. I tried to educate him on the side of the road, but he was just all they know is their statutes. They don't know
I know.
law.
That's right. That's right.
They don't even understand the Constitution, to tell you the
That's
truth.
correct. They don't know the Constitution at all.
Yeah, so it's like all these violations of your rights. And I just kept repeating to him, you are
Mm-hmm.
violating my rights. And he just, his response was, take it up with the judge. But they don't take me to the judge. They take me to
Yeah.
booking, you know.
Yeah.
They go ahead and take my fingerprints, my picture, and process me as a criminal when I have not been found guilty of nothing,
Right.
because I have not seen my day in court yet.
Well, I think it'll come out good for you if you just stick to your guns and stand up for your rights. I mean, they can't violate your rights, and if they do in court, then you file a complaint with the state, with the judicial committee. I know in Louisiana, there's a judicial commission that we file complaints with, and they hammer 'em. I mean, they come after 'em. They take it serious because they know apparently what's the real deal, and they're not letting judges get away with it when complaints are filed. So
Yeah,
do that too if you go to court. Anybody that goes to court, do that. File a judicial commission. I'm sure every state has one that
yeah,
charges the
there is a judicial committee here for,
yeah.
but the judge needs to be the one now to, if the judge does something adverse towards me,
If
then
the judge is sitting on the bench and you standing up for your rights, not wishing to contract with them, and he forces you to contract, then he needs a complaint filed on it. And
well,
if
in
he's
essence, I
allowing you,
kind of, I kind of already did contract with them because I had to bond out.
uh-huh,
So, all of my documents that I signed when I was in jail and the bond and everything, I signed it under duress, reserving my rights.
that's perfect.
So I did all those steps already. But I know how horrible it is with,
Yeah.
their court system here. They just violate everything. So, but I'm gonna give it my best shot
Do
and
that,
let's see
and
what
they won't get
happens.
away with it much longer if they do. I promise you that. It's all coming to end. If we make it
Yes,
happen, it's gonna happen. But we have
yes,
to make that happen.
yes, it will happen. We just,
Hmm.
we finished electing all our positions here on Florida,
That's great.
last Thursday, as a matter of fact, and now we just have
Great.
to get our notices and have the Federation audit our documents and make sure everything was
Awesome.
done
Awesome.
according to how everything's supposed to be. So I'm hoping that our courts will be standing up at least by the middle of 2025.
That's great.
Um,
Congratulations. We getting
thank
close in
you.
Louisiana too.
Yeah, so we just got to stand up our courts and just really
Hmm.
start hammering down on all this criminality that's going on
Yep.
and just
Yep.
putting a stop to it, at
That's
least
it.
for people who are status corrected.
That's
But
correct. That's correct.
they want to do whatever to their US citizens, have at it.
That's it. That's it.
Well, I thank
Well,
you
thank
very
you, ma'am.
much. Thank you. Have
Thank
a good
you.
day.
May
Bye.
I please? May I
Thanks, Carmen.
comment on that?
You want to comment on that? Yeah, real quick, because we
Yeah,
have
go
a
ahead.
few people after
Carmen,
that.
I was wondering if you saw my email in the chat. I sent you my email address so that you could reach out to me directly. I think I can help you.
Let me see if I see it here. What's your name?
Renee McGuigan.
Renee. Okay.
I
I'll
sent-
find your private. Okay, I see you. Renee Marie MC at ProtonMe.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I will send you an email. Thank you.
And I hope you saw
Thanks.
mine too, Carmen. This is Jocelyn.
Okay, Marlene, you can go ahead and unmute and ask your question.
Okay, I don't have a question. I just want to let everybody know that I have private plates and notices on my car. And I've gotten stopped several times, but I too am very nice to the officers. They asked me about them, and I have my little car packet, and I bring it out and I ask them what do they need, and politely say, what can I give you and what did I do and all that stuff. And they are very intrigued by the information. They are surprised that I have all of the 200 codes and all of that. I have all my 928s and everything in the packet. And
It works.
they say thank you, and I just really politely say, our world is changing, and knowledge is power. So if any of these documents you need, I'm happy to share. I have more at home, And they usually say no, but I say, well, I'm here to help. So on to the next. But
That's awesome.
yeah, so it's cool. But I have a suggestion that might be helpful. So I live in Grant County, Washington State, and I'm a recording secretary, but one of the things that I do is I have a paper party with our group. And if a new person comes on board and I do his paperwork, I take copies of my documents that I have and I make their car packet for them and include it with their documents so that when they leave my office, they got their full armor on.
That's
And
good.
I think that it doesn't take that much time to make some copies. And I think that it will be very helpful for everyone as a
I
recording
agree.
secretary. It might be a little bit more work, but we could save ourselves a lot of headache in the end for our assemblies. I yield
Yeah.
and thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marlene. Robert, would you like to go ahead?
Yes, thank you. Hi, Boyd.
Hey.
I have a real simple question here. You mentioned that you have a relationship with the sheriff. Now, this is in the event that you were stopped along the highway or had an interaction with another agency. Are you able to reach out to the sheriff, therefore allowing him to come and provide protection to everyone within the county limit? I yield.
If I get stopped in the parish limits by a police agency or sheriff, the sheriff can bet he's going to get a call. I'm gonna call.
And just curious a little further, is he in prior agreement that he would come to your aid?
I believe so. I believe
Oh,
so.
beautiful.
I mean,
Because I won't go into, all my history or anything like that, but one thing that needs to happen is the sheriff needs to be noticed and individually libeled or made liable, not only as a man, but also as the position that he's holding.
right.
And if a relationship can be created to where he is in agreement or understanding of that, then that would put him in a good position to be able to be called upon in the event that there was turmoil on the roadway, and that would
That's
prevent
right.
a lot of
That's right.
this.
I agree.
So,
I agree. And Joe and
all
I,
right.
Joe, the director with the Peacekeeping Task Force, we're working on getting NCIC for the entire U.S. United States, and we'll be able to send out notices that way. Notice every sheriff in every state. Notice every governor. Anna's going to be able to do her international public notices on there, and everybody in every public agency is going to get it. Now, that's going to make a huge difference when they see that come over NCIC from us. That's going to carry weight with them because it's always it's always some kind of directive that comes over the NCIC when it's delivered
Right.
to agents.
Yeah,
So
that's great.
yeah, and we just got a couple of little things to do, and we're going to be good to go on that. So
Perfect. That
it's
will be very helpful to get noticed from
going to
both
be.
sides. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. I yield.
Okay, thank you. I think Marge, you're next. Marlene, did you have a follow-up question? Your hand's up, or is that just you didn't put it down yet?
I put
Perhaps
it
maybe
down.
Marge
I'm
Tinker.
done.
Okay, so Marge, sorry, Marge on Florida, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, thank you. Thank you, Boyd, also for your willingness to come and put yourself out there. I appreciate it. I'm kind of curious about your thoughts in relation to the FBI's document, Law Enforcement Guide to Sovereign Citizens. Are the police and the sheriffs, are they told to read this guide? I mean, how does it play in
Absolutely.
their everyday? You
They're
mentioned Police
trained
One.
with that guide.
They're trained with that guide. Okay. And
That's
go
correct.
ahead.
No,
Well, the thing
I'm
is,
just saying that's correct.
yeah. And so what really bothers me is that this comes from the FBI. you know, and I
Mhm.
don't call me stupid, but I would think that they're out there to help protect us, not create more terrorists that are false, you know? And you know, like you mentioned Police One earlier, a lot of their articles, a lot of articles that are coming out of the media, obviously pumped
Mhm.
from the cops. Um, it's just really does a tremendous amount of damage. I was fortunate in that I reviewed that document the day before I went to court. And right away,
Mhm.
the judge, when I introduced in the court on special appearance, the judge throws me to the back of the courtroom with the public defender. And I mean, every word out of his mouth came out of that book. And having reviewed it the night before, it was very obvious. And it was fun to really talk to him honestly about it. You know,
Yeah.
let him know exactly. I know exactly where you
Mhm.
got your info, guy. It just bothers me. And so you don't see any
Yeah.
problem with the FBI being the one to put that book out?
It's a
That's hate
huge, it's a
crime.
huge
It's a hate
problem.
crime.
Huge problem.
I mean, how
Yes, it
is it
is.
we
But
can't come against them for a
that's
hate crime? That's our national origin. Go ahead.
stand up our courts. That's
Yeah.
the answer. I feel when we stand our courts, that's it. I mean, they can't. It's the supreme law of the land, and they can't buck it. Uh, that's just what it is. Um, or I'll stick my militia commander on him, Sean. He's on this call, I believe. And that's changing, I believe. Also, just things I heard today. I said that earlier about the federation is being created, and the 50 states of the union, and I saw videos of, and even General Flynn, I'm sure y'all know him, General Flynn. He talked about that the Federation is being worked on, is standing, and the 50 states of the union. I saw a video of him saying that today, you know, so it's starting to come out. And he's not saying it's them, it's not the government that's doing this, it's the people. So that was a huge plus to hear that in that video. And put it on Discord. I'm gonna look for it. I think I shared it on Facebook, but I'll put it on Discord so everybody can see. And he knows
Is
what
that
Trump's
the
administration's doing.
is that the is that the Republic for not for the United States of America with Sandy Majeski? Is that who you're talking about?
No,
Because
no, no.
there are a bunch of white hats in the military and
Right.
in government, and they've been
Mm-hmm.
around since 2010. They noticed everybody internationally in 2015, and they just
Mm-hmm.
came out and they have an internet presence now, and they're starting to round people up to join the force. I went to
Mm-hmm.
Anna and asked Anna, why aren't we working with these people? And Anna's response was
Mm-hmm.
that they are United States citizens. And so I went back to Sandy and I said, all right, Anna says we can't work with you because you guys aren't real Americans because you are US citizens. And
Mm-hmm.
Sandy's response from the Republic
Mm-hmm.
is that the 14th Amendment was never ratified. There are no US citizens and they do have standing under that because Anna said they had no
Mm-hmm.
standing as US citizens. So, you know, I would love to see all of us join forces. It's ridiculous we have these pockets of
Yeah,
groups when we should all
yeah.
be in one
I made
pocket, you know?
right. I made contact with the Louisiana group, and I asked them, "Why don't y'all join us?" And they told me Anna doesn't believe in the Constitution. I said that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I said that's the furthest thing from true that I've ever heard. And they were just mindset on that. She don't believe in the Constitution. I said no, and then I don't want nothing to do with y'all. Um, I was going to ask them join us. Let's get together and work on this together. We're all in it for the same thing. Why don't we
Hmm.
work together? We accomplish it a lot faster. But
We'd have our numbers. We'd have our
yeah,
numbers if we all joined. Well,
that's right.
anyway, Boyd,
That's right.
thanks again. Keep up the
All right.
good work. We appreciate you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. That's it, Captain.
Yeah, that's it. Go ahead. You can continue
I'm
on.
so happy you're on here. I just can't hardly stand it. I'm so happy you're on here. It just makes my life so much easier. I screwed this all up. Um, let's see. just some of the key points. Remember, remain calm, assert your rights, and follow up appropriately. File your complaint with the chief, file your complaint with the sheriff, and follow up on those complaints. Check back with them a week later. Where's my complaint at now? Is it being investigated? What's the status? What's the outcome? I want to know what's happening. Is somebody getting time off? Is somebody getting criminal charges? I want to file papers. Let's get it. Let's do it. Because they have to do they work for you. They work for you, and you have the law on your side. So, let's see. And when you have your jury standing, um, the right to petition the grand jury for redress of grievances, provide evidence of any rights violation to the jury assembly, the jury's power to invalidate unjust laws applied improperly to American state nationals. The jury assembly is very, very powerful in American common law, and they can just null and void laws, and they just take it off the books. I think that's the answer for all of us is stand our court, and we not going to have any more issues. We might for about a month or two, but I think it's going to fade away if the courts bring them in and make them answer to what the violations they've done
The
to
sheriff
America.
over in America that resigned, and he's telling everyone how to deal with the police live.
There's an open mic. Go ahead, Boyd.
Oh, okay. So, I think that's pretty, that we're probably about to cut off, huh?
No, there's no time limit. There's
How much
just a
to go?
people limit.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I thought it was an
can
hour.
only have 100, so apparently there's more than one to
Okay.
hear you, Boyd. But the recording,
I mean, we
I
have-
posted in the chat the YouTube channel for the PKTF, and that's where the recording's going to be. So if you share that with people, they can at least
Okay.
watch the recording. I'll try and get that up tonight.
All right. How many people on the call?
100.
100? Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anybody else have any questions? I pretty much covered all that I wanted to cover. I was looking forward to the sheriff being here. I think he could, it would have been nice to have him here, and he belongs to the Sheriff's Association, the National Sheriff's Association. And I believe he was just elected in a position there. So that's a big, big plus. You'll be able to do some talking for all of us at the Sheriff's Association meetings, which we'll see some changes. I think change is coming. It's right around the corner. All grace goes to God. Praise God. Thank you. It's time. Ooh. So, any more questions?
Diane is asking if we can do a follow-up with the sheriff, and yes, Boyd is going to talk to
Yes.
him and see when they can schedule another meeting, probably next week. And I will post that in the Telegram channel, where I did before in our PR guy, Johnny. He seems to put it out in different platforms, so people find it. So
But next week, it'll be sometime next week. I'll
Okay.
do it on a day that there's no and won't do it on Mondays or Tuesday, and Wednesday are other calls. Maybe Thursday we can do it. Is Thursday a good day?
yeah, anytime, as long as it's not
Okay.
New Year's Eve.
Let's
Marlene,
schedule
whose
it for
Facebook
Thursday
name?
at
Are you talking
6.
about Boyd? Boyd, what is your Facebook? Is it just under
Boyd
your name?
Adams.
Someone's, I think, yeah, Boyd
Just under my
Adams.
name. I have my white police chief shirt on. And the peace flag in the background. Well, let's just set it up for Thursday at 6.
Oh, you know what? Thursday's a coordinator call with Anna. They didn't have one this week, so it's next week. So Thursday probably isn't good. Thanks, Kathleen.
Okay, how about Friday at 6? Same like tonight. That'll work.
Hang on a second.
Might as well tell them
Challenge
I'm
of people's social life. I'm just kidding. Let's see. Let's see. So that's a third. That's fine with me.
It works for me. And the
So,
sheriff will be fine with it.
and it's recorded, so if people can't be there.
Yeah.
You know, they can always watch
Yeah.
the recording. So that's
That's
good.
right.
So,
That's right.
okay, so we're gonna do Friday at 6 Central.
Yep.
Okay, I'll get a Zoom link set up and I'll see if I can increase the capacity.
right. Thanks everybody for coming, and I hope something I said helps. You know, that's what we have to do. We have to be there for each other and help each other get through all this. And but just know we are gonna come out smelling just great. It's gonna be wonderful.
Boyd, a hand just went up. You want to entertain one more question?
Sure, sure.
Okay, Renee, go ahead.
It's not really a question. I don't know if if I didn't hear this or not, but I think in every circumstance when you're stopped by an officer, you should ask if they're wearing a body cam and that they have it on. And that was my only comment. That I
Yep,
yield.
that's a good idea. Yep. Cameras are great. And I'm gonna tell you this one last thing. I used to work for a sheriff's office around New Orleans. It was actually in New Orleans, not in New Orleans, but Jefferson Parish. And Harry Lee was the sheriff. He was an old Chinese sheriff. Tough. I mean, he took nothing at all. He didn't play with nobody. And we didn't have cameras. And he said he didn't want us to have cameras. And why you think he didn't want us to have cameras? Because he didn't want the people to see what the officers were doing. You know, so that just and that's the whole deal. You know what I'm saying? It's all so wrong and it's messed up. But that's just how they think. You know, it's sad, but it is what it is. But nobody would buck him. They couldn't. I mean, he's deceased now, poor fella. But it is what it is. You know, I'm happy those days are over. Oof. Mm-mm. So that's all I
Okay,
have.
I'm gonna go ahead and, thanks Boyd, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording.
All right. Y'all have a good night and see y'all next.